Hello, everybody.
Hi.
And welcome to NoCo Live, NoCo FM's weekly when we're feeling good live show on Twitch, on YouTube. On YouTube? Are we on YouTube this week?
YouTube?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Possibly.
I forgot to check that.
Maybe on YouTube.
So
It might be too hot for YouTube.
Right. I am your humblest of humble hosts, Charles Joseph Kelly.
And I'm your second most humblest of humble hosts, KevKat Martinez.
And I am your third host, Chris Lanphier.
Oh, Chris Lanphier on the ones and twos.
That's right.
So this week we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about some fun movie news. We're going to be talking about UMS, which we went to a couple weeks back, and we're going to be talking about whatever is in this bag to my right. Stage right, house left.
Know your stage directions, kids.
I know my stage directions. So first off, before we begin, we're gonna jump into our favorite bit of the week, Charles's energy drink theater. Now this bit is the worst.
Yeah, it's actually the fucking best, and it's the reason I'm alive.
Okay. So this bit, very specifically,
Is it the reason you're alive or is it the reason you're not dead? Because I think there's a difference.
Yes.
So
That thing.
I'm a table slappy boy this week.
You are.
So
Yeah, stop that.
Yeah, I bet it sounds like a nightmare.
KK,
Yes.
you get to choose between two flavors, and Chris gets the other one.
Oh,
Okay.
God. This is...
Okay, orange or red.
I feel like no matter what you choose, nobody here wins.
Right. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna go with orange.
You're gonna go with orange. Okay.
Yes.
Now don't look. I'm gonna show the
cover
camera
my eyes.
really quick. The orange one really quick. I don't know if we get a good shot of what is on.
Not really, no.
Okay. So you have Doomsday Lemonade.
Oh
Doom.
no. It's
Doom.
got Kim Jong-un on it, and it says, "Hello, my name is Rocket Man" on his shirt.
Uh-huh. So the other
Taste
one.
the apocalypse.
So red flavor for Chris is Stalinade.
Oh God.
All hail Stalinade.
All hail Stalinade. So now we've got a bottle opener. I don't know.
Yeah, this was the only clue I got. Was the tops of the bottles I could see in the bag, and he handed me a blue bottle opener. I was like, "Oh, we getting drunk on live stream? Yes!"
I don't know. These may have been sitting around long enough that they are fermented. So.
I cannot.
Oh,
I can't.
you are having such a hard
I'm
time.
having the worst.
My dude.
Where's my keychain?
Mine
is
you've
better.
almost got it off. Holy shit.
You are the worst.
God damn. Hold on.
Sorry.
Don't drink it until we.
It's like it looks like it's gonna be bad for me. It looks like dirty water.
Okay, these are the worst.
It is dirty water.
Okay,
These
It's
are the
dirty
worst.
communist
I'm
water.
already getting told that these suck, and then I'm expected to drink them.
Well, yeah, isn't that the whole point of the
Okay.
bit?
I mean, no, not really.
Okay.
Oh,
All right,
wait, I want to
Chris.
smell. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me give this a smell.
Mm-hmm. And after that, I have concluded my nose still
Okay, the
sucks.
smell's not awful.
Okay.
let me-
Yeah, no, it smells good.
Let me smell that one.
Okay, I couldn't smell anything from that one.
What
but I
are
smelled-
what
I
are
smelled that
the
one.
That has no smell.
what
Okay,
are
good.
the nose notes? Are you getting like
Okay,
for this one I'm
getting
getting
a very light citrus from
right.
this one.
I'm getting a light citrus.
Yeah,
I'm-
I get kind of a orangey citrus kind of
yeah,
thing.
It's a very
that
sweet
one
citrus.
smelled. That one smelled like fruit punch to me, almost.
I could see that.
Between
Yeah.
the two, which is the better smell?
That one.
Well,
that
the Stalinade, because it actually has a smell, whereas that one does
This one,
not, which
if you, like-
makes it even more suspect.
one. Well, like if you hold it really close to your nose, you can smell like the lemonade a little bit.
It's so barely there. It's
Right?
like LaCroix.
It is. Somebody whispered lemonade in the room over there.
Exactly.
That's
Like the house over.
And you're
like two
oh,
houses
yeah, I
down.
guess it's kind of like
Two houses down, someone said the word lemonade. Or no, two houses down, someone was playing Beyonce's Lemonade,
Oh
and
my
that's how we got that.
Beyonce's lemonade so powerful that it can add any flavor to any shitty drink you bring here.
We need to make a themed joke. That's the only flavor that they could afford in North Korea.
Oh, well, it's the only flavor that hasn't been censored by the government.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's do this.
For
thing.
North Korea.
All right. Okay. There's only 2 flavors. All right. Let's do this.
Okay, KK, you go first.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. Sacrifice the smallest one in the room. That was a weird sound.
Everything about that thing is weird.
All right.
I want to try this one. Can I try this one?
No, we're doing one.
We're doing
one
one
at a
by
time.
one. Okay.
I think we need to do one at a time.
Can we have a palate cleanser? I have gum. Maybe. Do I have gum?
Okay.
Oh, I left it at home.
Okay.
No, it's in my bag.
Okay, who wants to start first?
I'll start first. I think that tastes like where Sprite goes to die.
Right. So you know the color of it looks like a dirty water
It
color.
does.
That's
Really
what
does.
it tastes like, but
Okay.
sweet.
So do you know what this
But
tastes like to
barely
me?
sweet. Like just sweet enough to be like covered by the communist regime.
So if to me,
Tastes like communism.
what this tastes like to me is if you take a big, gigantic tub just full of dirty water and you pour in a flat Sprite, then you soak a candy cane in it for 24 hours and then put it in a bottle. That's what that tastes like to me.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un lemonade. Folks.
Get it while supplies last.
Oh, God.
Is that what we're supposed to drink when the apocalypse happens, or is that what causes the apocalypse?
Or what results from it.
See,
Either way.
what's gonna be coming out of my booty hole after I finish this is gonna be apocalyptic.
Oh, boy. Oh, man.
We need to get whoever makes these fucking things as a sponsor.
This is sponsored by probably the most terrifying soda company. What is happening?
I know,
It's
right?
actually made by Rocket Fizz.
This is Rocket Fizz.
Wait, Rocket Fizz makes their own
Rocket
soda?
Fizz.
All right.
I love Rocket Fizz. But I don't. Okay, Rocket Fizz is like a candy shop in Fort Collins. I don't know.
They're
if
they're
it
a,
is
they're a
chain.
franchise. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, still, it's one of my favorite places to go, and now I'm just disappointed.
Spark of Life wants to know, have you guys had lemonade Sprite, and does it taste like that?
Lemonade,
No.
like the.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It kind of does.
Wait,
I
there's
mean,
a lemonade Sprite? Isn't
There is
Sprite a
not.
soda version of lemonade?
Yes.
So what the hell is lemonade Sprite?
That's what it is.
Lemonade Sprite is like.
I'm really confused.
No. It's
Just
a
put
little bit more lemony.
It's a.
Okay, so it's Sprite with extra lemon.
You know how Sprite?
Yeah.
You know how Sprite tastes like sugar?
Uh-huh.
Right. It's sugar, but with a little bit of a tart lemon flavor.
That's
Yeah.
seems
That's-
useful.
Honestly,
It's
that's
really
what
accurate.
that's what this actually tastes like. Except this tastes like booty.
100%.
Booty.
Okay, we've got number 2.
Booty, booty,
we've got
booty,
number
booty, rocket
2.
everywhere.
Chris, you need to start this one off.
I'm starting this one? Okay, so this is Stalinade.
I'm sorry.
And if I die, then I don't know. I guess one of you gets to hide my body.
Hey, wait. I'm just kidding. I'm just stalling.
Someone just get a screenshot of this.
That'll be on the YouTube thumbnail when we re-upload this.
Absolutely.
Except it'll be a penis. It'll be a penis.
Okay, so I'm not dead.
Okay.
Let's see
Go.
what you guys think.
Dildo backwards. I was trying to say it, but it didn't work.
All right. So what's with Rocket Fizz having their sodas taste like butthole? This one's better, but
Well,
only
I
because
think-
it's sweeter.
I mean,
No,
obviously,
I don't like sweet things. This is garbage. Like, it's worse to me. Like, I really don't like this. Do you remember those little, like, they were shaped like barrels and you had to peel the, like, foil off the top of it?
Like the root beer barrel candies.
No. They were like plastic little barrels filled with like colored juice.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It tastes like if you watered that down more so and then just added a shit ton of like sugar to it. It does not taste good.
These are both very bland.
It honestly tastes like what I assume Stalin's mustache would taste like.
Right. Yeah.
After 60 or whatever years of being entombed.
Both of these taste like carbonated sugar water. That's it.
It really
There's
does.
not much
Well, you just
flavor to it.
You just described
It's
every
not
soda
even
on the
carbonated.
planet.
I mean, like,
though.
if you think like Dr. Pepper or Coke, they have some like complexity to them.
Sure, they're distinctive, yeah.
This does not at all. Like this is. It's gross. I don't know why I whispered that. That won't get us demonetized.
No.
If somebody donates $10, I'll chug this whole thing.
Which BT Dubs, can we talk about Mr. Beast the last time? Who
yeah,
didn't-
Mr.
He
Beast.
apologized by donating. He
No,
was like,
there's
"I'm
more to
fucked
this story.
Oh, what happened?
Well, yeah, Charles.
It never happened.
So this guy, or I'm assuming is a guy, the generic term for an unknown person. This person says he donated and then said he donated again, but I think he just kind of hacked the Gibson and he didn't actually donate anything because we never got anything from it.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, what a trash bag.
I know, right?
Says some horrible things and then fakes us. Ooh.
So my
it's
impression
Charles.
of Stalinade, I don't know. I think the lemonade is the better of the two.
Yep, I agree.
Right?
So that was
hate them
Charles's energy drink theater. Energy drink theater. So now that Rocket Fizz is on my radar for sodas, we will be.
Well, now that they're on my shit list for terrible
Okay,
sodas.
Rocket Fizz itself, I don't think I'm gonna, because they had a whole list. They had an Osama bin Laden one, which I was like, oh, why not go Osama bin Laden? But I feel like Stalin was the better choice.
Wait, was the only way the Osama bin Laden one would be good is if the bottle was shorter because it didn't have a head?
Yeah. So Rocket Fizz sodas are
Cutting edge political comedy here
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
NoCo Live.
This is amazing.
they're fine. They're not good. They're a local company. Support your local businesses, except for when they taste like ass.
I can't wait for that Rocket Fizz sponsorship to come rolling in the door.
We're like, hey guys, we think you're really great, but we watched the live stream and what the fuck?
So I want to.
I honestly think we should approach them about sponsorship.
Yeah, I think so too. I actually love
Welcome to
Rocket Fizz.
Charles's Energy Drink Corner, brought to you by Rocket Fizz, who does not make soda that tastes like ass.
I
totally
will.
doesn't.
I will contact Rocket Fizz.
Do it.
Hi, Rocket Fizz. I just want to say that I love your store. Your sodas aren't the best, but hey, guess what? You still sell Faygo in the bottle. I love you. I love you because Faygo is the worst thing on the planet.
So I realized that like Faygo is like the drink of the
Juggalos.
ICP disciples, and like that's fine. But like why did they go for Faygo? Like why did they need their own drink?
I
Right,
think
it
the
was-
members of it just like
So Faygo is like an old soda company.
Yeah, it's been around a long time,
A
right?
long time, and it always came in these bottles, right? So the reason why I, from my in-depth look into Juggalo culture, because have I ever told you this?
I can't wait for our Vice-like expose on Juggalo culture.
I am 100% serious. I will probably end up doing some sort of like long form podcast about Juggalo culture, just because I find it so interesting. Like honestly,
It is really interesting.
Do you
A little
know what-
scary, but
Right.
very
do
interesting.
you know why I started like falling? Have I ever told this story to you guys about like what I saw in Greeley that made me fall in love with Juggalo culture?
no, but I have a story about Faygo when you're done.
I feel like you might have, but I don't remember the context of the story. Though we do have a question in the chat before you get there. What's your favorite Faygo flavor?
Favorite Faygo, cotton candy is really fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
Sour apple is though it's a lot, but the cotton candy.
I feel like the sour apple might be the only one I've actually tried.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's super. I mean, they're all super sweet.
Right.
I had a
right.
peach one in Oklahoma that I thought was pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't like each bottle have like a pound of sugar?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
They're super sugary, but I mean,
It's like you get instantly diabetes just from like taking a shot.
100%.
right. I thought the cotton candy was different enough as a flavor that it really separated itself from like everything else that Faygo was putting out there. They're also their cream soda is really good. Their actual bottled cream soda is probably one of my favorite cream sodas.
Right on.
So that's a solid, and that goes out to all my juggalos out there. Whoop whoop.
We're gonna start getting really strange fan mail.
I'm fine. I am
boy.
fine. I am fine with juggalos being interested in NoCo
I'm fine
FM.
with that.
If you'd
too.
like to be interviewed for Charles's upcoming Juggalo documentary podcast series,
Okay.
please
Hey.
reach us at hello@noco.fm.
Hey, if you make an ICP cover band composed like strictly of queer people, I will put it on my show.
Right. So my story
Insane
about
Queer Posse.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Please.
I was driving down Greeley and I went downtown, and over by the Chiba Hut, that's over kind of by campus, there was a bar, and on the bar said the best 2 words I have ever seen combined in my entire life.
Free Fago.
No, Juggalo karaoke. And that has been something. I have never seen it since then. And since then, I have wanted to experience from the inside Juggalo karaoke and whatever that means.
But you didn't stop in and go?
I was
No.
I was
Why?
literally gonna
'Cause-
say I was hoping there was a story about your deliverance because that sentence saved my soul.
Right.
Like-
and now I have moved to Greeley, right? I live in Greeley now.
Right.
And my favorite thing is there is a tabletop game store in Greeley that has a sign that says, "We've got tabletop games and we sell Fago." And I'm like,
Good.
yeah, I see what you're doing. You're trying to get those juggalos in there. Yeah, so that's okay, your Fago story.
Okay, so Fago made a resurgence in like 2013 with the younger crowd because of a comic called Homestuck. And I actually was so into this comic, and like people talk about Homestucks to this day, but I was so into it that I had a Homestuck themed Sweet 16 birthday party. Sweet 15.
Wait, what is Homestuck?
Homestuck is the most confusing, convoluted, crazy, like
I like where this is
longest
going.
piece of literature ever created. It's insane. There's aliens, there's crazy sex buckets, there's like kids playing a video game that ends the world. It's too much to like explain right now. But I do have a tattoo for it.
Sounds like a cooler version of Scientology.
It's
like-
a comic, right?
It's an online comic, and he's looking it up right now. The pictures you're seeing right there do nothing to explain the plot. You will know nothing. The plot is everywhere at once. But yeah, I had nothing. My mom couldn't find Fago for the party. So she literally, because there's a character in Homestuck that is obsessed with Fago. He is a juggalo. And he eats pies, gets high all the time, and like just drinks a shit ton of Fago. So we tried to have Fago at my party, and my mom couldn't find anything but the off-brand like Shasta sodas. So she just turned the like label inside out and wrote Fago on it, and it was so funny.
That's so good.
But don't worry, because all of my Homestuck friends brought their own Fago, so we were good.
Oh, it's a BYO Fago party.
Oh my god, we had Sober Slime cake. Somebody knows what I'm talking about, and they're cringing, and it's great.
I'm cringing now, and I don't know what it is, but it sounds
amazing.
awful.
I just cosplayed it a lot.
So, fun fact, Fago's been around since 1907.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's been around forever. So I just Googled 2 words. Why Fago? And Google brought up, why is Fago the Juggalo drink? Detroit-based, I'll do this in my announcer voice.
Please.
Detroit-based hip-hop group Insane Clown Posse include references to Fago in several of their songs. Positive audience reaction to an early concert performance in which Violent J threw open a bottle at a row of hecklers resulted in the group continuing to spray their audiences with the drink.
A legend.
Wow. In the chat, Taylor wants to know, who's your favorite character, KevKat?
Oh god. Okay. I cosplayed a lot of them. My favorite characters were Sullux, I really liked
Digging this lounge music.
Rose, and I cosplayed Roxy all the fucking time. Dirk was my personal favorite, though. I always love him so much. So yes.
Nice.
Let's nerd out about Homestuck. I'm ready.
Question for you guys, and questions for the chat. Magnets. How do they work?
How do magnets work? What?
It's an ICP reference. Have you ever watched Miracles?
Nope. Oh, wait.
On break, you're watching Miracles.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I though?
Have you ever watched it, Chris?
No.
It's
Wait,
a whole,
wait.
It's a whole song about them explaining how, there's miracles in this world, like how Shaggy's son looks like Shaggy, and how blah, 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 son looks like Daddy. This is like some of the lyrics. And then one of their lyrics is, fucking magnets. How do they work?
I didn't commit any ICP lyrics to memory. I mean, I had a copy of the Great Malenko album, but I remember nothing from it other than the cover, because I thought the cover was pretty cool.
That's fucking dope.
I think out of any music video that I've ever seen in my entire life, I've seen Miracles more than anything else that I've ever watched, ever, music video-wise.
Can I just say for the record that does not surprise me?
Yeah. So
That's not a knock. It just doesn't.
Does that in fact make me an ICP fan? I honestly, yeah, I'm a fan of ICP. I'm not a Juggalo.
I can't say
I'm a juggle high.
Jesus.
Thank you.
You're a juggle-ish.
I'm juggleish. I'm a juggler.
You know what? I can't say that their music really does a whole lot for me. I think I've heard one or two songs that I enjoyed, but I will say that I remember seeing an interview or hearing them on Howard Stern or something where they talked about how, like, it was one of the rare interviews that they did where they weren't like in the ICP characters.
Right.
So they were talking about how, that they basically created these personas as ways to kind of share, like, it's performance art, right? It's performance art, and they raise a lot of money, and they give a lot of their money to like charities, and they built a hospital in Detroit. Like, so I have serious respect for them as artists, as entertainers. I don't look down on anyone that listens to them. The only issue that I have is that some of the Juggalo culture, and I don't know that it's necessarily a reflection of the music, but some of that culture is kind of violent and hateful. But I think that says more about those people than it does about like the ICP movement. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So there's a documentary out there. I think it's called Gathering. It's called The Gathering. It's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole documentary about like following people who go to like the yearly gathering of Juggalos in. It's not Detroit, but it's somewhere. They do like a yearly, and they take
I've heard
over
about
like
it.
an old circus or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And they take it over for like a freaking week, and interviewing people around it. And it's these people are interesting. And I mean, like, yes, weird, but I like weird people, and I love interviews with people who are different because they're like actual people and they're real. When you watch a lot of interviews with a lot of people, it's very like, hi, my name is this person. I do this. And
Yeah, it's like talking points. Yeah.
I'm this guy, and look at me. And I'm like, holy shit, these are like actual characters. And you can tell that that's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
That's so cool.
So, yeah, I absolutely love, I denounce like all the stupid racist shit that comes from Juggalos. I denounce like
Very
all
much
the gun culture that happens within them. But like as people, I find them very interesting and like people that I would be very interested in talking to.
So look for our Juggalo podcast coming soon to NoCo FM. Like, I honestly, I think that would be an incredible like sociological like exploration, because I'd love to learn more about why people subscribe to the culture and like what got them into it and what keeps them staying as part of it.
Totally. So one last thing. Charles's Energy Drink Theater was based off of an idea that I had for a Juggalo food review show, where I sit down in like a robe in like a fancy library with like a fireplace behind me, and I'd be like, "Welcome to Juggalo Food Theater.
Yes.
Like in that kind of voice, but full Juggalo makeup, but still wearing like the fancy robes, smoking like some kind of...
Fun fact, I had to talk Charles out of naming the station Juggalo FM.
Yeah, it was going to be...
Inside NoCo FM. Why wasn't it named Juggalo Station? More at 10.
So anyways,
Tune in.
so that was Charles's energy drink review and a fun conversation about Juggalo culture. So we're gonna go around the table, and this is what we do every episode from here on out: is we all bring something to the table. And who wants to start?
Well, I just want to interject real quick and say that actually KevKat was my favorite character and kind of the inspiration for my name. And also, I'm not really into Homestuck anymore. Now we can go into the topics.
The music.
Drop the mic. Holy shit.
That was perfect. Okay,
That mic is dropped.
I've got a more serious one. I don't know if we want to start there, Chris. We could talk about UMS.
Let's talk about UMS a little bit. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but we went to the Underground Music Showcase in Denver, and KevKat's pointing at things. I don't know what's going on.
I'm suggesting we trade seats because you guys were the ones that were there.
No,
It doesn't matter. I have the camera on me.
All right, dope.
So we went to UMS last weekend, and it was me and Charles and Corbin, our music director, and our intern / photographer Stina. And we had a lot of fun, but it was a lot of fucking work. Mm-hmm. We made a lot of cool connections. We met a lot of cool people. We did some interviews. If you go to our YouTube channel, some of those interviews are up right now. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully we get to do something like that again. Charles, what are your feelings on how that weekend went?
It went really well. I think that's it. I mean, you can see how much fun we had in the videos that we're making. I'm gonna have more out soon. I think like in the end, like it went really well. Obviously, there's always gonna be criticisms of how we can do it better. That's besides the point. But like overall, it went really, really well. I am so impressed by how well we came together to let people know that NoCo FM is a thing, to let people know that we are there to support them, and to really get a better idea of what NoCo FM, the station, is actually all about. I think that was kind of like the more eye-opening thing for me in the end, is just like, oh shit, we're here to help people out and to be... And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what our mission statement was.
Yeah, it's like to be a platform for independent artists and for, to give people a chance to express themselves, whether it's music or whether it's, spoken word podcasts or whether it's our, Juggalo Shark Week. I think...
or Corbin's dancing.
Or Corbin dancing. Yeah, I have so much footage of Corbin dancing
I love
at
it.
UMS.
It made me so happy.
And
I was watching the stories.
Like, honestly, everyone that I have talked to in the last week who's seen that footage has been like, does Corbin actually dance like that? Yesterday, Natalie was like, did you speed up that footage? I'm like, no, that's just Corbin going full fucking bore. Mm-hmm. And she's like, wow, he's incredible. I'm like, I know. Dude moves like Jagger.
Yep.
I want to dance with Corbin so bad. Like, it's so bad. Like, Corbin, if you ever watch this, can you, like, meet me at the club? I want to dance with you. I want to dance. Corbin.
I think it really went well. What was your favorite moment? I want to hear from you because I don't think I...
My favorite moment? That's a great question. I feel like, I don't know, there's a couple categories I could put it into. I feel like our best interview was probably the ones we did with like Trace Chapman and with the Burrows. They were all really cool. My favorite moment was honestly like watching Corbin dance at Retrofred's DJ set. That was fucking amazing. And honestly, so the night before UMS started, Corbin and I got to do an interview with Black Mountain, who was one of the headliners, and talked to them. And they actually did a private performance for the press. So they were doing this like full on like 90-minute show.
And you and one other group were there.
What? There was like maybe 20 people total in the building, and Black Mountain was just going full bore, like doing the show. It was incredible. Mm-hmm. And Rachel from Black Mountain, I love you. Return my calls. What's going on? But in any case, like that was one of my favorite moments. Like, and just honestly getting to hang with you guys and getting to see that we are actually capable of like going out and covering a music festival, even though it was our first time doing it. And even though like we didn't really know what we were doing. Like, we figured it out, and we did some really cool stuff, and we had a really great time. So, like, that was an incredible experience.
Right.
What was your favorite
So
moment?
I mean, like overall, it was just like the small moments that we got to have with a bunch of the creators out there.
Yeah.
So like watching Corbin interview people and just seeing them like connect, and then like hanging out with the Burrows, even if it was for a second. Like I love everybody at the Burrows. They're like family to me. You know, and like seeing them, even because I had to leave like 2 minutes after they showed up, right? I had to head out, but I'm like, I love you guys, and they gave me big hugs, and they're like, we miss you, and I'm like, oh man,
They're super cool people. And after like 20 minutes of talking with them, I was like, I want to hang out with you guys all the time. You're amazing.
They're great. And then like Hayden, one of the saxophone players, he messaged me and he's like, hey man, I'm so sad that I missed you. And I'm like, I'm so glad that I missed you. No, he's like, I'm like, we should hang out soon. And he's like, hell yes, we're hanging out. And like things like that make me know that like what we're doing is helping this community, and already seeing that is really nice. But also like having intimate moments with like fucking Tessa Violet was in the coffee shop with.
I'm so sad I missed that.
So yeah, you guys were out doing an interview, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go upstairs and edit because I'm so exhausted. And then I walk upstairs and I'm like, highlight her hair, it's Tessa Violet. All right, be cool. Oh,
Don't fanboy.
No, I was just like, all right, she's sitting right next to my backpack. I'm so sorry. Here, let me get this out of your way. Sit down. Text KevKat. She's sitting right next to me. Oh my god.
Well, and what's funny is I remember like even before UMS started, you were like, I really want to see Tessa Violet. Like it'd be cool to talk to her.
Yeah.
And then like in our group chat for UMS, you were just like, I'm sitting next to Tessa Violet, and I was like, oh my, like I was so happy for you.
Yeah. And then I was
so happy.
And then she got up from her. I think she was doing an interview or something like that, and she got up, and I looked over and I'm like, aren't you Tessa Violet? Like trying to play it cool.
Good move.
And she's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, I thoroughly enjoy your work. And I was like,
Would have been great if she was like, no, that's not me. That ain't me.
Go fuck yourself.
right. Yeah. Go die in a fire. I don't talk. It's $5 per minute. Starting now. But no, she was really great. And like, I was trying to like show respect, being like, hey, I love your shit. Like, there has been many times where I have gotten super duper high and listened to your music, but I didn't necessarily want to do that. And I was like, hey, a friend of mine really likes your work, and I didn't want to be like, can you record a video for me? Can you do it? I would like you to record a video.
Tessa Violet, can you record a video for me so that 5 years down the road when you're really famous, I could be like, I ran into her in a coffee shop.
Why don't you do these amazing voices for Talk and Roll?
I do. Then we cut them out. So instead I went,
Can you record a video for my friend KevKat?
and she's like, what was that name? And I'm like, KevKat. And she's like, KevKat, that's a rad name. And then I pull out my phone and I'm like recording, and she's like, she did her thing, and I'm like standing there going,
Yes.
in the video, and it was great.
Can I tell you?
Oh god,
what
that
actually,
Stalinade tastes worse the second time.
Right, it's so bad. Can I tell you how amazing that was? Because actually, it ended up being like the best 2 days of my life, because I had to work a double the day that Tessa Violet was playing in Fort Collins, and I was really upset about it. I was like, oh man, I can't go to the concert. Well, that sucks. And then I completely forgot about it. I forgot it was at Hody's, and I walked into Hody's during my break, and I was like, hey man, what's playing tonight? He goes, it's Tessa Violet. And I was like, oh my god, when did she go on? He was like 10. My break ended at 10. And I was like, no. And I texted Circus because I was working with him that night. I was like, can I be 20 minutes late just to see at least a part of this concert? And he was like, yeah, do it. And I go to the door guy and I was like, okay, how much? And he was like, $20. And I was like, I can do that. And I ran in and I got to go see Tessa Violet. I met some really cool people and it was dope. And then the next day I get a text from you. Oh, hey, Tessa Violet's sitting next to me. Here's a video of her saying hi to you. And I was like, I'm screaming in a cell phone shop right now. I don't know what to do.
It was good. And I mean,
was
like,
amazing.
it's one of those things where like, it's a good reminder that these people these people who tend to be more famous with their music are just people. Like, just sitting down and chatting with her was really, really nice, and just like saying, hey, you know what, I would love to have you on NoCo FM at some point. And she's like, hell yeah, just text my people or message my people. Here's their email. And
yeah, that was one thing too, because like I've done my fair share of like celebrity interviews and like celebrity interactions and stuff, and you can tell when someone is being like just kind of like phony and being like, oh yeah, have your people call my people, and when someone's being authentic. And everyone we dealt with at UMS, like from the management on down, was just super authentic,
right? Super
happy to be there, super happy to be interviewed. Like, I thought we would have to like fight tooth and nail to get people to interview, and everyone was like, fuck yeah. Like, awesome. The only reason we didn't do more was a lack of time,
right?
And like and we still have some coming, by the way. There's like 2 or 3 more that we're gonna release. But
Wheelchair Sports Camp, hell yeah.
Wheelchair Sports Camp, we're gonna hopefully interview. So Bohemian Nights at New West Fest, which is way too long of a name, is this weekend,
right?
This upcoming weekend. And Wheelchair Sports Camp is going to do an interview with us this weekend, either before or after their set.
Right.
So that's exciting, because I really wanted to interview her at UMS, but we ran out of time. But I think that's going to be a lot of fun. One other bonus favorite moment when you asked earlier, Corbin and I got to check out a new group that have only been a group since January, called Oxford with an X in front of it. So it's X Oxford. The X stands for hug. So it's hugs around Oxford.
She was so awesome.
She was super, super cool. So it's this like kind of like synthwave, synth pop duo from Denver. They haven't been a group that long. Their show at UMS was their very first public show ever. And they were so excited. We're actually going to be doing some more stuff with them after Burning Man this year. So we'll actually, you'll be hearing more from them exclusively on NoCo FM coming soon. And I could not be fucking happier. Mm-hmm. And they were just so super cool
it's just a 2-piece band, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck don't we like record like one of their sessions video wise?
That's one of the things on the table.
Okay.
But we may also be able to, we're talking about perhaps premiering a new single.
Oh yeah.
That they have coming out, because they're working on their EP. They have 2 singles out now. They're on Spotify. Check them out. But we might be premiering the next one.
Dude,
very soon.
Well, let's talk, because I think like doing a video of them performing on like live.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Anyways, so I think we're going to take a quick break. We've got 30. Oh, wait. What?
I was just going to say, Adrienne Rayash from Plasma Canvas is watching the live stream, but she can't comment. She told me to tell everyone that she likes my shirt.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I saw a lot of people with Plasma Canvas stickers and shirts at UMS, which made me very, very happy.
Yeah, honestly, like a lot of people were repping Plasma Canvas stuff. So, BT Dubs, I've seen so many people saying that Plasma Canvas is fucking incredible, because they are. You should be listening to them, because
go watch their video context.
Hell yeah. So we are going to take a break, because Charles needs to poop again. And we're gonna stretch. We're gonna be back here in a couple minutes. We love your faces. We'll be back.
We'll see you next.
Woo!
Right.
What you said?
You said we love your faces, and I thought of Philip DeFranco. I immediately almost
I
said
love
it.
your faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Have you seen the video? Before we go, there's
we're never gonna leave.
It's 11 minutes long, and somebody took every single time Philip DeFranco goes sup. So it's like sup, 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 sup,
I know what I'm watching during the break, besides the Juggalo video.
That sounds like the stuff of nightmares.
Or
Okay.
dreams.
No, definitely nightmares. We will be right back.
I'm into weird shit.
Hi, this is Chris Lanfear, and I'm the general manager of NoCo FM. NoCo FM was built around 2 ideals: to empower a diverse group of people with a platform to tell their stories, and to bring unique and quality programming to the world. In the few short months that we've been in business, we've done just that, with shows like Connecting a Better World, where host Dr. Natalie Phillips interviews people who are devoted to doing social good in their communities. Don't forget The Lube, where hosts KevKat and JoJo start the conversation about sexuality in an inclusive and comedic way, while also answering questions from around the globe. The Spark, where host Stephanie James delves into the fields of psychology and wellness to give you the tools to live your best life. And Talk and Roll, where 4 hosts comedically stumble through a game of Dungeons & Dragons to tell the story of a group of adventurers lost in a world that isn't their own. These are just a few of the many quality shows that we produce for free, and let's not forget our live stream at NoCo FM that's bringing you the best tunes and talk from around the world 24/7. Now, we'd like to ask for your help to give us the ability to bring even more unique and diverse perspectives to the airwaves. Let's talk quickly about where your money goes. 10% of all of our profits are invested back into the community by giving to local nonprofit organizations chosen by our patrons. What remains is split 60-40, with 60% invested into the company and 40% being shared among our hosts, giving them the financial freedom to continue making quality programming for you to enjoy. We have 2 simple goals for 2019. 1, we need to be able to cover all of the costs that go into running an online radio station and podcast network. This includes investing in our hosts and producers to make the best programming that we possibly can. 2, we want to produce even more new shows on topics such as disabilities, parenting, film and video game music, and more. With your help, we can produce 24 new hours of programming every single week. Now, not only are you helping us, but as a supporter on Patreon, you'll get access to exclusive extras that are made just for you. Things like Inside NoCo, a behind-the-scenes podcast about what we're doing and how we're doing it. Corbin vs. the Movies, a podcast of running commentary where host Corbin David Albaugh waxes poetic on the greatest trash cinema that we can find. Ad-free access to all of our programming. And campaign and behind-the-scenes material from Talk and Roll that you can use on your own D&D adventures, and much more. Thank you so much for considering becoming a patron of NoCo FM. We appreciate your support, and we're excited to see what the future brings as we work together to build and strengthen this community. To get started now, just go to noco.fm/Patreon. That's noco.fm/Patreon. And thanks.
It sounds like his voice is breaking.
I know, and it's funny because it happens every freaking time.
You beautiful bastard.
It's great. Hold on. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm actually done.
Oh,
No, I'm not. I'm not done. Oh, there we go. Now I'm actually done. So, welcome back to NoCo Live, where we listen to Philip and Franco say one word for 11 minutes. And we watched the music video for Miracles.
We did.
In the break.
And you pooped in record time.
I
Really?
did. Record time of 0.
We all watched it. It's over there.
It's over in the corner.
Yeah, it's your poop bucket.
It's really disgusting.
Charles's poop bucket. I don't know. That wasn't a good rhythm.
That wasn't good. That wasn't going great, but I loved it. I love the enthusiasm.
So, thank you. Once again, if you're new to the show, I am your host, Charles Joseph Kelly. This guy right here. This wonderful human being right here is KevKat Martinez, and over here, in the corner, is Christopher Lanphier.
Line of my life.
Christopher Josephine Lanphier.
Yes, sir.
Your middle name is Josephine?
No.
Oh, I was going to say that's so beautiful. I thought that was so pretty.
It's Joseph, though.
It is?
Yeah.
We have the same middle name.
Same
We do.
middle name? That's amazing.
He's CJK
You also-
and I'm CJL.
And my brother is AJ. Anthony Joseph Martinez. There we go.
Perfect.
We got the Josephs
With our powers
together.
combined.
We should just go by the Joeys.
The Joeys.
We're the Joe boys. Joe boy. Hi, I'm your Joe Boy Charles.
Welcome to Joe Boy's Juggalo Corner.
And we all just sit with a cup of Joe. And we just talk about Joe Boys.
Welcome to Cup of Juggalo, our daily Juggalo talk show.
Juggalo Joe.
No.
It's the Juggalo Joe show.
No, it's the Jugga Joe.
Oh,
The Jugga Joe show. Actually, I love that. Can we
Our
make Jugga Joe
daily-
show a thing?
Our daily Juggalo news corner.
yeah, what's
Morning
happening in the
show.
world of Juggalos?
I love this idea.
Wake up with the Juggalos. Get your morning started right.
Wake up with the Juggalos. I'm just imagining it's like a VR experience. Like you get to wake up.
You know what?
next
Now
to
I
a
want to see if
Juggalo.
we can get Violent J as a guest, like a call-in guest.
I want
I
to.
bet you he'd do it.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Ah,
My baby's born.
Violent J. I'm gonna look up his
phone
email.
number.
Personal cell phone.
Stalker info.
So no, I'm looking for.
I'm not on the dark web
Home
right now.
address.
Email. I'm actually gonna email him while we're doing this.
God damn it.
Just
Okay,
take to Reddit.
so
Does
what-
anybody have Violent J's number?
What else are we talking about?
Folks, bad news. The Insane Clown Posse website is down.
It says it's a
What?
bad gateway.
It's a 502 error.
502, that's the worst.
Uh-huh.
Not really, but
That's not really the worst. But the website is, in fact, down. Actually,
It's
it's
back
back up.
Those
So
3 seconds sucked.
I want to contact.
that's because so many people were storming their website based on viewing our show that it crashed
Okay.
with our legions of followers.
It's literally just Circus with 50 phones around him on the same website.
Circus's botnet.
All right.
Exactly.
All right.
Circus the bot.
What's the NoCo FM phone number is 970-666 NOCO, right?
Yep.
6626.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
And if you want to call in for some unforeseen reason to our live show,
Do it.
call 970-666-6626. I do want to start making that like a thing.
We should. That would be fun. Like people call with questions and stuff.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on our Juggalo morning show? Would you watch and or listen?
Who do you think should be no?
If you
it
want to
should
call into the
absolutely
studio, this is a real question.
be 100%.
okay.
The phone line is
Hi
open.
there.
This is not a drill. What are your thoughts on our Juggalo morning show? I'm opening up Skype now.
Are you?
I really am.
I'm so excited. I really hope somebody calls.
Okay.
This will be so good.
So I'm emailing Insane Clown Posse. Their record album or their record company, Psychopathic Records.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hi there. My name is Charles Kelly,
Oh God.
host and co-owner of NoCo FM. We would love to interview you guys if you are up for it. Thank you so much for your consideration." And submit.
Adds no other further detail. It's just like, yeah, this works.
So I've also done this recently with Tommy Wiseau because I'm like, hey, I would love Tommy Wiseau's underwear to sponsor our station. I emailed him, no response. Tommy Wiseau, I know you are watching the
know
show
you are
right now.
He is one of the 5 people who are watching.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Tommy Wiseau, I understand that you are watching the show right now. Where's our underwear contract, Tommy? Your underwear is great. It looks like Tommy Hilfiger underwear. Oh, I love it. You get a free Blu-ray if you buy multiple pairs
What, really?
of the
the
room.
I'm just
room.
wondering why our phone's not ringing off the hook here.
Oh,
I guess
Right.
no one
no,
actually
no,
wants to talk to us.
Please don't call.
Please do call.
Oh, why not?
Please actually call.
We need some
No,
call-in
you
guests.
Need to call in, and
This is how I get you guys to shut up.
I'm gonna cut your mic.
this blows my headphones.
Okay,
don't even
so we've got a few other topics that we would like to discuss with you folks here today. Now, KK, did you have one in mind, or do you want me to jump into mine?
I just wanted the thing we talked about earlier with the freaking video games. That's the only thing that's been on my mind that I'm mad about.
Well, we'll talk about it really super quick.
Okay.
The news is blaming video games and politicians, especially Trump.
Well, especially
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the insanity wing of the GOP is blaming basically anything but guns for gun violence.
100%.
That's not a new headline.
Right.
No, but it's just like it's such
It's ridiculous.
an old and tired argument that has been proven wrong so many times and have been talked about, and it's bullshit that someone who during his rallies and stuff purposely incited violence is saying we shouldn't incite violence with video games. Screw you. People play video games for fun. They don't play video games because they enjoy killing people.
Right.
Most people don't.
Right.
So it's not it's really stupid.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely.
And I mean, this point was like further solidified, like after Columbine happened and everything. It's like the types of violence that we have, particularly school shootings, is like an endemically American thing, as sad as that is.
Unfortunately.
And yeah, very unfortunately. But the thing of it is, like, it's not because we have access to guns, it's because we have such access to guns that is so easily available. Like, you can buy guns at Walmart. A lot of states do not require background checks for person-to-person purchases. And to say that violent video games is in any way responsible is completely irresponsible, because they have violent video games all over the world, yet no other country has the gun violence that we do.
Right.
And if video games were the problem, then it would be a problem wherever those video games are sold, and that's obviously not the case.
Right.
We have 250 plus shootings in America, like USA, in this year alone. And that's insane. That's higher than anyone.
Right. I don't want to talk about it too much further because, you know, what's been said has always been said.
One thing I do want to mention that got stuck in my craw was not specifically the video game thing, but it was Neil deGrasse Tyson, who usually is on the right side of a lot of things, his harassment issues notwithstanding, but he actually came out and said that, like, well, you know, car crashes and heart attacks and such kill more people in 24 hours than gun violence does. And while that may be scientifically accurate, like, I just found that to be particularly tone deaf.
Yeah, it was okay. So that one really quick. It was it was problematic. He's technically right. The best
He
kind
is
of
technically right, but it's like know your audience and know when to
you're
say
not
those
wrong.
things.
right.
Yeah, it's
What's that what's that meme with the dude?
Yeah, the guy was he's like, man,
He's
he's
like,
you're not wrong.
you're not wrong, but you're still an asshole.
yeah, exactly.
Right. So yeah, no, Neil deGrasse Tyson, that was a weird thing for him to post. I mean, yeah, technically right. Yes, more people die from the flu in 48 hours than people do die from gun violence in
True.
48 hours.
But the difference
still,
is that the flu can't kill multitudes of people in 30 seconds.
Right.
Okay, so last thing that I want to say is that Philip DeFranco really had a really good point in his video today. I've got a clip pulled up.
I fucking hate.
I had to move on. I had to move on from this.
Okay.
But did you have to move on that way?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. Okay, so Charles, what are you bringing to the
Okay,
table?
so this is another serious conversation because this is a conversation that I had with another individual and something that we should think about because it's a hard conversation to have, and I would like to say that there is a good chance that there's a possibility, there's a stipulation here. I'm not sure what the right situation is here. I don't want anybody to get like super offended. We will discuss all sides of the table. I would like to say that I feel like internet rage culture may have gone too far here. Now, hear me out.
When doesn't it?
So the ScarJo trans movie, right? That was out and about in the world. She decided not to do that movie and to give it to a trans individual. That movie is no longer being made. It's no longer going to happen because they don't have a famous actor attached to that project. So here's what I'm going to say to preface this. I would like to remind people how important Brokeback Mountain was to gay culture and to show...
Boys Don't Cry as well.
Boys Don't Cry was another great one. Tu Wong Fu, another great movie that was very important in showing people that that gay culture is okay, it's right
And valid,
and
yeah.
valid. All of these movies didn't have gay actors playing those roles.
To the best of our knowledge.
Right, to the best of our knowledge. Right. But they still were important for bringing in gay actors, bringing in people, and allowing people to show their true selves.
Mm-hmm.
So now that this movie is not being made, is that negative towards showing people that being trans is okay? That's my question.
So
Interesting
my
question.
counterpoint to your Brokeback Mountain point is, yes, that's true. That was at the time like a very important movie that really helped normalize gay culture, I guess.
Right.
Gay culture. You know what I mean.
Or at least
But,
expose people to
yeah,
it, for
at
sure.
least 100%. Thing is, we don't need that as much anymore. We don't really need, I'm not saying that we don't need the exposure. I'm saying that we don't need, it's not as world changing as it was back then. Like, people are more accepting of trans people. More people are out. More big name stars are coming out and like expressing themselves and stuff like that. There are more options. There are more people who could fill the role better and create a better movie that is more relatable and creates more representation for someone who's actually living that life as an option, rather than putting a big name of someone who is cisgendered and straight in a role of someone who is not.
Right.
So while I completely agree, yes, putting a big name behind a movie and having them play a role that doesn't necessarily fit them so that you can get positive, I guess, public eye view on topics that are usually frowned upon, that's 100% an amazing thing, but I don't think it's as needed.
I would disagree, mostly because I think that we have a tendency of seeing it being okay in our echo chambers.
True.
I think that there is a large swath of the population who hates the transgender movement, who don't understand what's going on. I had a lot of conversations with my family who are military who didn't understand the complexity of the trans military ban. And those are the people that could be pulled to the side of, oh, hey, these are people, right?
Right.
Because, yes, you and I, all three of us, are all, tend to find ourselves in groups with people who are trans. You are trans,
Yes.
right? So, like, in general, we find ourselves in these groups, but these other people aren't. So, with that movie not being made, how many people could we have, shown and made realize that trans people are just people, period? That's just where I'm coming from. And like, in no way, and I don't want to say this either, because this issue is super, super duper complex, right? I think that both sides of this are right. I think that, yes, we need more trans actors playing trans roles. I want to see a world, hippy dippy Charles, I want to see a world where any person can play any role, period. It's never going to exist in our lifetime. That's just how time works. We're not even close to being there yet. But having men playing women, women playing men, trans men playing trans men playing trans women, trans men playing men, trans men playing women, everybody playing everybody. And I'm just generalizing here. Everybody should be able to have the chance to play a character, period.
And
So I think ethnicities get a little weird there. Obviously there's some complexities
Oh,
there.
yeah, 100%.
In a perfect world, that wouldn't be an issue, but there's some stuff there. But I think that's the world that we want to get to. But anyways, Chris.
I see both points, and I think they're both valid. I think that because this was Scarlett Johansson in particular, and because she has previously gone on record as saying, like, I should be able to play anyone that I want to without getting, like, shit from the online community, I agree and disagree with that statement. I would like to believe that when people are cast in movies or plays or anything else, it's because they're the best person for the role. Mm-hmm. But in Hollywood, there's also something to be said for millions of dollars get put into these things, and they have they have to at least have a fighting chance of making a return on their investment.
Right.
And that's hard to do without a name actor in the role. Now, in 1990, was it 92 or 94? I think it was 92 when Philadelphia came out. A lot of the same stuff happened with Tom Hanks.
Right.
Because Tom Hanks is a white cisgender male who was playing a gay man who was dying of AIDS, and the gay community caused some fervor because it wasn't a gay man portraying the role. Now, in that particular case, where I think this deviates a little bit, there weren't a lot of openly gay actors in Hollywood at that point.
Right.
And there still aren't a whole lot today. There's more than there was, but there still isn't a lot. But if you watch Philadelphia, a role for which Hanks got the Best Acting Oscar, it does a lot to, at least in my opinion, reduce the stigma of people who have HIV and are living with AIDS, and at that point in time dying of AIDS. That I think the exposure did much more good than it did harm.
Right.
I think where it went wrong with Scarlett Johansson was her openly defiant, like, fuck you, I don't care what you tell me. I'm gonna go where the money is and I'm gonna do what I want.
Right.
So that
I feel like if she had a different response to that, when the ruckus was first stirred, I don't think it would have been nearly as much of an issue.
Right. Go ahead.
So wasn't her, like, she came out about that comment and said, like, it was kind of taken out of context.
Yeah, so
it wasn't necessarily just her saying, fuck you, I should be allowed to play whatever I
Right.
want. It
True.
was her saying actors should be able to,
Portray anything.
yes, be
If I want to
like-
be a tree, I can be a tree. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
what was working against her already, and this is the part where I feel
Ghost
like
in the
internet,
Shell.
the internet community was unfair, was the fact that she had played an Asian character in Ghost in the Shell.
right.
Now, personally, being a Ghost in the Shell fan from back in the day, I didn't have a problem with that casting. I thought she did a decent job. I would have liked to see it be a little bit more true to the original story, but that's a much harder pill for American audiences to swallow. So I understand why that was done.
Yeah. 100%.
And are there any like famous trans actors right now other than Laverne Cox?
Eddie Izzard is trans. I mean, Eddie Izzard isn't. Well, I mean, they're both B-list, I would say.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't think of any A-list actors off the top of my head.
That's
and
true.
when you have a film that deals with those sorts of issues that are always going to be hard for a lot of people to swallow already, you need to cast the widest net that you can. Because with someone like Scarlett Johansson, I'm not saying she was right for the role. I haven't read the script. I don't know. But there are people who will go see that movie because she is in it.
Right.
And that's this. You have to sort of hedge your bets a little bit if you're a studio putting up millions of dollars of marketing into producing something like that to get them to go see it.
Right.
So I feel like it's unfortunate that it's not going to be made because that is one less chance for representation. But the well was kind of poisoned with her. Yeah. I have a feeling that down the line we'll see that story come back up with a different actor in the role.
100%. And I mean, like, we're slowly inching our way towards like actual diversity within storytelling, and it's inching. It is inching slowly, but we're getting there, right? And like,
but if you think about how long it took for even like going back to like the 60s, how long it took black actors to be recognized on the same level as white actors,
right.
You know, it's a very slow progression, and at least in terms of like cultural understanding, black and white is much easier to understand from a layperson level than trans versus straight or trans versus cis or any of the various dials on that side of the spectrum. Like, you know, I have, trans friends, I have gay friends, I have bi friends, and even I sometimes will fully admit that I don't
understand
100% understand it.
Yeah.
So and I'm exposed to that culture all the time. Most people aren't. And you had a good point, Charles, when you talked about the fact that like in our echo chamber, people sometimes make the assumption that their experience is the same as other people's because it's inside their echo chamber, right? But everybody's echo chamber is different.
Right.
Okay. I was gonna say
No, go ahead.
help your point was that actually when I think back on it, like Tilda Swinton when she played the Archangel, I think Michael in Constantine.
Yeah.
That was actually really fucking impactful for me.
Hell
when
yeah.
I watched it as a kid, I was like, that is a person who's betraying a man, not as a woman pretending to be a man, but as a woman being a man on the screen.
Right, totally.
And I thought that was amazing, and it did have a huge impact on me because I thought, wait, we don't have to fit like this specific thing. And I get that, and I 100% agree. Like, yes, it is very important for people with big names to take on roles that are controversial. Like, I remember forever ago, Will Smith like turned down a role because he had to play a gay character in it because his PR manager told him that it would be bad press. And he got talked out of the role basically, and he talked about it like I don't know how long ago, and he was like, yeah, I kind of regret it or whatever, and he's proud of his son for not following the same steps. But yeah,
I mean,
it is very important to have big people openly say like, yes, I will play this role even though it is frowned upon and most people would turn it down or whatever. But I also 100% think that we should absolutely be pushing more talented people who fit who actually fit the role.
Oh, totally.
Like,
Sure.
give the option to talented trans men actors to play trans men
100%.
on screen.
Right. So like I think like with that, I think those are both very similar things. I want to see us support the arts of those individuals 100%. I want to see trans like some very popular name one trans man in movies nowadays. There's not really anybody, right? Am I
Trans man actor or
I'm
character?
drawing a
trans
blank.
man actor that anybody can think of? Big name individuals. Look it up really quick.
I don't think. I mean, none come to mind for sure.
Right. And none come to mind for me. And I'm sure that there's going to be somebody who's going to say something.
I do have a comment from Adrian Rayash from Plasma Canvas. If an actor is trying to portray a gender they are not, then they are focusing their performance on their idea of what a trans person looks/acts like and not the character. A trans actor has lived the experience of being a trans person, so they're already more authentic in that regard. It also allows the actor to focus on the character they're playing rather than trying to understand what it's like to be trans, which is an excellent point.
Right. I completely agree with you. That I think that's also a little bit taking away from what actors actually do when it comes to like, especially like really like amazing actors and actresses. I think that it's a lot more complex than that. But I agree with you that in those situations, yes, 100%, it would be the best situation would be to cast somebody there. But those movies are not going to be made because they don't have a big name attached to them. That's the issue that we're running into here, because that movie's not going to be named going to be made if they have a trans man playing that role. It sucks. It sucks dick. Like, it's bad.
But one thing to remember too about that specifically is that Hollywood is inherently conservative, and I don't mean conservative in terms of values. I mean conservative in terms of investment. Yeah. Why do you think so many remakes come out? It's because they know that a remake, whether good or bad, is going to have a built-in audience, and therefore is much more likely to be financially successful, if not creatively successful. And it's going to take time for those tides to shift. And you're gonna see that stuff happen, but because it happens so gradually, it's much harder to see.
Right. I mean, like we're seeing that more on television nowadays, where there is a lot of diversity within television nowadays. Movies, it's a lot harder because there's a lot more money that goes into it, and unfortunately, the majority of people go with majority names. It sucks.
It's just how it works, and with there being less studios now because of the consolidation of Disney buying Fox, that means there's less opportunities. There's less places for challenging stuff to get made. Because do you think the Walt Disney Company is going to greenlight some of the stuff that Fox Searchlight did when they were around? God fucking no. Their job is to maximize value for shareholders. And the way you do that is by putting out product that appeals to the broadest range of people possible. And we're just not there yet. It's going to take time. And it probably won't be commonplace in our lifetime.
So let me offer another counterpoint. Let's say you said that right now they're just not going to make it because that's not what's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes the outrage a good thing. And let me explain why. Because if enough people are saying, we won't watch this movie if someone's playing, if there is a cis white, not cis white, but a cis person playing a trans character, then maybe they'll start listening and actually start like trying it out and seeing what happens. And maybe we can get bigger names trans actors out of this. And maybe we can actually start the cycle of change instead of just saying, well, that's how it is and there's nothing we can do about it.
Right. So
You're
yes.
right. And in the chat too, Sarah makes an interesting point saying, and she works in the movie industry, smaller movie studios are more likely to make these types of films because they don't typically have the type of money to do so. That's why like Dallas Buyers Club was not a big studio tentpole movie, even though it had Jared Leto and Matthew McConaughey, and Jared Leto won an Oscar for it for playing a trans character. But that's the exception much more than the norm right now.
So like it's a mixture of different things. Yes, you want to support art made by trans artists if you want to see that happen. But like all of these things, we're like Chris said, it's such a gradual thing that just a few people who do this, and even if it's like a significant portion, that's still not enough to overpower $100 million franchise seeing a trans actor be in a Marvel film, for instance. That's probably not going to happen until phase 10.
We're lucky we're getting gay characters in
finally. Well, we finally got a gay character in Endgame after 10 years of making those movies. That's the first openly gay character, and that was a one-off character who just was played by one of the directors who's a straight guy. It's the same stuff. Like even these giant films, they're scared because they're worried that they won't be able to make that money back because they won't. And that's shitty. That is super shitty that's the world that we live in, but we need to work towards like getting to a point where, hell yeah, I want to see trans men playing the fucking like next Iron Man. That's what I would love to see, but we need to get those actors' names out there and putting them in shit because there's nobody. I just went through a list of 70 different people to play that role instead of ScarJo, and the first one was Laverne Cox, which is so problematic.
Oh my god.
Like,
okay.
Can we like this is the situation. It is we're in a place right now where all of this shit it's just so all over the place. Support trans artists, support trans individuals, actors, musicians, painters, everybody. Support fucking diversity. That's NoCo FM. Support fucking diversity. That's what it says on that poster right over there. But yeah, it's such a complex issue, and it's hard.
So what I want to say to the point, I know you said like saying that a cis person can't play a trans actor is really just because they don't know what the experience is like, is really discrediting what actors put into playing a role, the research for playing a role. And while like I agree, I completely agree. Some people throw themselves. Are these twist offs?
Is it? It didn't. The top didn't look really like a twist off.
Mind blown.
Okay. Go,
anyway, so it's also hard not to feel like they are just capitalizing on something that literally affects, like me and Adrian were talking about this yesterday, about how being trans affects our ability to get jobs, and it affects our
100%.
abilities to get respect by just random strangers who feel they have the right to tell us how to live our lives and how to completely function in life. And then Hollywood casts someone who's straight and never had to experience that pain, never had to experience what it's like to do that. And they get to like make money off of it. And people are like, well, it's fine because it hurts. That's
Right.
why people are mad, because it hurts. It
Right.
feels like we just get shit on. But if one person who never had to feel that is representing it, then suddenly it's okay. I understand why we're mad. They're mad. I get it. I'm mad too.
And I should clarify too. Like, people are more than. I'm not saying that people should not be upset about it. I understand why people are upset about it, and their feelings are 100% valid.
Oh, totally. I'm
But
right there with
it's
you.
also the realities of the marketplace. Like, movie studios, even though it should be different, but Hollywood entertainment in general, with the exception of NoCo FM, perhaps, is not meant to be an agent of social change. They can be, but that's not their job. These are publicly funded companies whose sole mission is to make money for shareholders.
Right.
And we want them to make good, challenging, creative art that values everyone equally and that puts forth social progression because it's a reflection of the culture. And that's going to happen to some degree. It's just not going to happen as fast or as often as we'd like.
And it's not going to happen on movies. It's going to happen on television because there's a lot more room there.
And it's much less risky.
Right. Well, so for
It used to be that you could put out what was called a mid-budget movie that was $20 to $30 million in budget and put it out in a bunch of theaters. The era of doing that is gone.
Yeah, you can't do that. You have to do like a $2 million movie or a $100 million movie.
There is
plus.
no middle ground anymore, and because of that, there are lots of great stories that are either not getting told, not getting released in theaters, or they're being like recalibrated for something like Netflix because there's so much cost.
So I here's where I see this changing. We'll see this change first, having more trans actors in television, 100% first. And that's going to happen
Which
over
is
the next.
happening.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
did
already
you see
happening.
it? Okay, I know it's not trans related, but Euphoria for
Euphoria.
trans related, and then also like Andy Mack, Disney had their first like on-screen confirmed gay couple with 2 kids, and it was excellent. I watched the scene like 40 times because it wasn't like gimmicky and it felt like real. And I really appreciate that it's becoming.
Blew past it.
Yeah, they did. They just had a really cute scene like they would with a straight couple on a Disney show, and it was great. And I really think that those are the steps that we need to be taking.
Right, and we're getting there, like with gay and lesbian individuals in movies finally after decades and decades and decades. But we need
And it's going to take just as long, if not longer, for trans people to be embraced or acknowledged in the same way, just as it took us to now to finally get gay characters in Marvel movies or whatever.
Another fun gay couple in movies that they just blew past was the Addams Family trailer. They start with like this drawing of like a bunch of different families, and they're like, "This is a family. This is a family. This is a family."
I saw that.
They're all happy, but here's also a family, and then it just cuts to the Addams Family, and like one of the families is 2 gentlemen, and that's super cute.
Cool. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I watched that trailer once, but I didn't notice that. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, is it's going to happen subtly. It's going to happen gradually. It has to, so that half the country doesn't get completely flipped out about it.
Maybe it's just a punk in me, but every part of me just wants to set Hollywood on fire and be like, "Fuck you!"
Just
restart.
don't. Okay, so like.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you've set it on fire, then no movies are getting made. Period.
I'm fine with that, honestly.
Honestly, eat shit.
With the fucking schlock that's being like presented, like. What?
There's still good stuff that's being made that's not your typical like superhero movie, but there's just a lot less of it now. It's a lot harder to make.
Okay, studios that are actually doing decent things. A24. A24. Nobody else.
I don't know that I would agree with that. Sony Pictures Classics has been putting out good stuff. Fox Searchlight is still kind of around putting out good stuff.
Amazon's been putting out.
Amazon put out the Suspiria remake, which is incredible, and you should fucking go see it. Netflix has actually been putting out stuff theatrically before they're available on Netflix, which is good. So there are players who are doing more than just your sci-fi blockbuster, but they're coming in different forms now, and it's taking longer.
Right.
So, anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. So finally, I don't want to say like anybody is wrong in this situation. All I want to say is that I completely 100% understand the criticism of ScarJo playing, but it's also really shitty that we don't have that movie anymore.
Yeah.
True.
That's all where I'm
agree.
coming from.
But I have a feeling in a few years
Why not
that
just
movie
make her
will
the
exist.
token straight friend? Sorry. I'm sorry. We talked about this too. We were like, every depiction of a gay person, like in most mainstream media, is like there's one gay person and like 20 straight people. And that's not true. We flock. Like 90% of us are like...
Okay, I want to ask you a question because
Okay.
this is somebody that you actually enjoy.
Yes.
How do you feel about the McElroys playing diverse characters?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean like on the
And
show?
Chaz.
Okay.
The
That is a
McElroys,
fair
for people who
point.
don't know, host Adventure Zone and My Brother and Me,
The thing is...
which are podcasts that are not on our network.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I mean, like in
But the
that
thing is-
situation, how is that? Okay, I really honestly don't feel like that's any different, and I think it's still kind of problematic that they're like, hey, look at all of our diverse cast, but the 4 white guys sitting around a table playing D&D.
But the thing is, they never once shied away from that. They completely went out front and they were like, yes, we are 4 white dudes playing this, and we're sorry. Like, but we also feel it's important, since we have such a big following, to make sure that we are like branching out. And while I completely agree, I think that they're essentially writing a book, like an audio book that you can listen to. And that's a little different than like mainstream media. Also, it's a podcast. Like, while podcasts are getting bigger, and don't get me wrong, the McElroys are huge, but they are still not like nothing compared to Scarlett Johansson.
No, I totally like I 100% agree with you there that like they don't necessarily have the following. I just think that
And 90% of their following is made up of queer people. We went to PodCon,
Totally.
and everyone that was there, that like Chris made this comment. He was like, everyone here is like queer, and
Yeah, which is something I completely did not expect
Yeah.
at all. I completely misjudged the audience that was going to be at PodCon.
100%.
Rest in peace.
It was 99% just young queer people that were there.
Which was awesome. Like, that's a hell of an energy to be around.
100%. So they know their audience and they know who's listening.
right,
And
but so like okay, I don't want to say like I'm like criticizing the McElroys here, but
But it
do you
is the
think-
same thing
But
when you
do
boil it down.
Do you think that because they know their audience is queer, do you think that they're pandering to their audience because they know that they'll like that?
I honestly
Honestly, I
Shots
don't
fired.
think, okay,
I don't
so
think that.
From my point of view, what I think it is the fact that they are surrounded, like when they get audience responses and stuff, it's 90% like, hey, we were at PodCon, we were at the live show, we saw people were like, how do I come out to my mom, blah, blah, blah. 90% of their following is younger queer people, so they have to be able to discuss that on their podcast. They might as well incorporate it because it's already such a huge part of everyone who listens to it.
Totally.
So I feel like it wasn't so much as like, well, let's see if they like this. It was so much more like people who listen to us deserve to be represented the same way that the characters that we love and care for in the first arc are.
Right.
And I think that is like, Travis plays a bisexual adorable cutie that I look exactly like. And like, I think that's great. I think that's 100% great because he never once uses it as a joke, and he never once tries to make it like gimmicky or whatever. And I think that's, and he you've seen like Travis's posts and stuff. He is the one that like tries to connect with like his audience and like
Right.
the people who follow him the most. He tries to be like a sunshine bubble. All 3 of them do. So I think that it's different. It's not pandering if you know that the people listening deserve the representation. That's how you present it.
So
It's knowing your audience, right?
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Cool.
This is
Now
great.
that I'm sad a
So
little
like
bit.
okay, but like on that front, I'll just say last thing. I do feel like it's similar. Like what if
Yeah.
what if
No,
ScarJo
you're
was
right.
like saying like, hey, I want to represent these people fucking right, but it still
But she
sucks.
didn't do that. She
Right.
didn't do that. She didn't come out and say like, "Hey, I'm considering this role. How would you guys feel about it?" I want to make sure I understand to the fullest extent what it is like to be a trans person, or like she's surrounded. She doesn't make herself seem like a person that is surrounded by these people and someone that is completely covered. I don't.
Right.
she's
So I
just-
think that's assuming a little bit.
It is
because
assuming, and you're right.
I think
Because all
that-
we have to go on is what was reported in the press,
Right.
and like we said
100%.
earlier, we have no idea how much that might have been taken out of context.
Right.
Yeah, but
So
she-
like there's
She certainly didn't do herself
significant-
any favors.
Right. She didn't do herself any favors with what she said or what was taken out of context. But like she very may well have not made it as public as the McElroys do, but she could have gone to a lot of her trans friends to say, "Hey, I want to know what you would do in this situation."
And then when
But, like-
when confronted with it, I wish she would have said something along the lines of like, "I am taking this role seriously,
Right.
and I want to make sure that I'm not stepping on anyone's toes or offending anyone. I'm not trying to make a joke out of this. That's what I wanted. I wanted her to come out and say, yes, I am a cis woman and I am playing a trans man role and I'm not taking it lightly. This is going to be something that I'm going to throw myself into. I want to talk to people. I have talked to people who have been through this and experienced this, and I've taken actual stories and I've like actually,
Right.
taken the
Yeah.
time to learn about it.
What came across should have been seen as being with more humility.
Right.
100%. So cool. Yeah, it's such a fucking. It's a lot to talk about. I am so sorry that I brought this to the table.
It's
because,
okay. No, like I got upset, but like I.
KevKat, you're
appreciate
getting
it.
claps in the chat.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
But like, okay, so yeah, we all understand this each other. I'm glad for that.
Yeah, 100%.
I love you, dude.
I fucking love you guys. I just like, yeah.
I want to see you in like the fucking movies.
I want to
Yo.
be in a movie. That would be so fun.
Hell yeah.
Ah.
You may be on a new podcast soon, so we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
Maybe.
So, yes, welcome to the end of the show.
I'm
We have been
smiling
going
again.
for an hour and a half
Hell yeah.
on this thing. So let's wrap things up, guys. So this weekend we have New West Fest coming up. So we'll be talking about that next week if we're not dead. We'll be talking about new shows coming out. We'll be talking about new cast members on a show. Perhaps next week we'll be talking about some events we have coming up. We have two different events that NoCo FM is directly involved in. One being headed up by Natalie Phillips, who hosts our show Connecting a Better World. It's a women's event called Unbreakable, which is September 6th and 7th, and you can find info about that on NoCo.fm. Also, Stephanie James from The Spark, with Stephanie James, is doing an event called The Spark Summit on October 26th. So we'll be talking more about those, but you can get info about both those events on NoCo.fm, and tickets are on sale. What else, guys? Anything we should plug?
No, just plug the station. This is NoCo FM. NoCo Live, NoCo FM's weekly show. We do this every Monday night, unless we're feeling like poop.
Every-ish
Yeah,
Monday.
every-ish Monday.
Oh, and here's an announcement. So starting next week, we're a radio station first, but this show has not been broadcast on our station. Starting next week, that will change. So if you do not want to watch our mugs on the live stream, then you can hear us on NoCo FM through the regular radio stream. So
Heck,
that will be
yes.
starting next week, and that will be the first actual live show on the radio that we've been broadcasting from this studio.
Dope. You can listen to us in your car. That'd be rad.
That's right. So you can listen to us. You don't have to watch us, and be a little less distracting if you're driving. So that's a good thing.
I
But
have not been wearing pants this entire episode.
you never wear pants in the studio.
This is true.
You walk in every time just weighing out.
I'm also not wearing pants.
I'm wearing shorts.
Anyways,
Short pants.
can you turn the audio up a little bit? Get it up there. The music. There we go.
Wait, I didn't plug my show. Oh.
Yeah. Now plug it. Plug it. This is your time.
You can catch NoCo Gadio on NoCo FM Fridays 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or anywhere you get your podcasts on Saturday, and that's Fridays usually when I'm not being a goblin garbage human being and missing episodes. I love you guys.
And Taco Roll is coming back this month. We're just deciding when exactly that's going to happen. So, yes, it's going to be good. We got the final 2 episodes of the arc, and then we're jumping into new stuff. So
yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week, hopefully, on NoCo Live. And make sure to tune in.
We'll have less serious conversations next week.
We
I
will.
love you so much.
I love you so much.
Comment in
Love
the
you
chat.
hey, bud.
Comment in the chat. NoCo Gadio smashes. Thank you, Taylor.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome music on NoCo Gadio and streaming 24/7 at NoCo.fm and wherever you get your podcasts. So for Charles and KevKat, this is Chris signing off. We will see you next week.
Bye.